Hi everybody, Colin here. I got something new to try today, and that's some new material from the Raspberry Pi Foundation on coding in Python. Let's get cracking. So, as per usual, we're going to Raspberry Pi projects. These are my favourites. And under the all new paths, there's a link here for Python variables, functions, and loops. And today, what I was going to show you was the new Hello World project. We're going to be using a program called Trinket, which you can use without signing in, but it's helpful if you want to save work later on to have an account with them, but I'll show you that in a moment. So Python's a very powerful programming language, and we're going to use this tool called Trinket to run some simple code. Here's a sampler that we've created, and we just press enter, and the screen is saying Python is very good at maths and printing out a number. I'm pressing enter again. The date and time is 11th of November 2021, and then the time, so you can see I was doing this half past 8 in the evening on the 11th of November. And then Python can make a dice. How many sides do you want on your dice? Well, let's say we'd like a 9-sided dice, and the computer has rolled a 2. We're going to make this program ourselves, so we'll be able to experiment with that later on. What do you like? I like coding. That sounds fanfare and glasses. You could make a Python project about coding. So that's kind of like what we're going to be doing today. So let's click on the link for the starter project, which will open in a separate window, in a separate tab, sorry. And like I normally do, I'm going to pull that down and then press the Windows right arrow key. So that puts my instructions on the right hand side. Sorry, it puts the tool on the right hand side and the instructions, Windows left, on the left hand side. In fact, I can switch that over. I can switch the instructions over a bit more, give me some more room to do my coding. Hopefully you can see that. If you don't have an account on here, ask a grown-up to sign in for you if you want to be able to save your work to show people later on. I'm just going to log in. And okay, so oh no, I didn't do. So I logged in then, but then what I didn't do is I didn't remix the project. So I need to remix the project, and that gives me a copy of this project in with my stuff. So this is a tool called Trinket. It's just a way of getting Python into your hands without having to load any software. In this project here, there is the main.py file. There's another file called emoji.py, which you can click there, and you can see it's got some lovely stuff there, which will become obvious later on. And then there's another tab here with no emoji.py as its name, and it's kind of like some old style emojis before the colourful ones arrived. Anyway, let's read down the instructions, shall we? So in this window here, this first line here just simply tells the Trinket that we're using Python 3, the latest version. The import lines here really say get everything from the emoji tab, or a library as it's called, and there's another one we haven't got in the window here, but it comes as part of Python date and time, and then there's another line here to get some something that will allow a random number to be created. So these things are pulling stuff in that other people have written for us to use. The little hashtag sign here, its real name is called an octothorpe, and what they've done here is they've given us some placeholders to put code. They're kind of like showing us some useful characters here, which I'll try and use. And we're going to put our code underneath this line 11 here. So that's me putting in there. And if I just type print, open close bracket, I like to use double speech marks. So you can use double, or as per their instructions, you can use single speech marks. But I like to use double ones because if I want to use a single speech mark, it's easier. Anyway, let's just put in there, hello everybody. And then if I just press the run key at the top here, it comes over in the output window on this side. There's a little clue here on writing special characters. This is really so if we need a left-handed brace bracket, that's on the number 9 key, so you're down shift and press 9. If you want the right-handed arrow bracket, you press shift and right. I like to do my brackets at the same time. In fact, the program, as I was typing that, then if I type an opening bracket now, it automatically puts the closing bracket in. It also automatically puts a matching pair of speech marks in there. So it's worthwhile remembering if you use other tools that isn't necessarily going to be the case, but it's for us today, that's quite handy. So if you don't put the speech marks around it, and just type hello everybody, it thinks it's being passed given a variable, and it comes up, press run, it comes up with says bad input at line 12, and that's because there are no variables and this is badly formatted, so we just need to put the speech marks around that. Just run that again just to prove that works, and that's that sorted. So we're now going to create a variable, and a variable is a way of saving things that we can reuse, so text or numbers, and it sometimes makes it easier to read code. There are some variables, so on the emoji tab here, they've got some variables. So this one here, the world one, is a variable, and it's got 3 globes of the world is what's being kept in the variable called world. I like to think of variables as being a bit like a shoebox, and in the shoebox here, I've got a shoebox I've called world, and I've put 3 globes in it. There's a shoebox called heart, and in that one I put a heart. So it's kind of like an easy way of remembering things you want to reuse. We can use the print command more than one time, but we're separating things with a comma. So let's come down here, let's do print. Let's say hello. Come outside the second speech mark with a comma, and then I can, as they've done in the instructions here, type in the word world, and because that doesn't have speech marks around it, the Python knows that that's going to be a variable, and assuming that variable exists somewhere in the program, I won't get the error message I had earlier on. If I press run now, this program here has then looked in the emoji file, found the variable called world, and then replaced that with 3 globes. Let's try another one here. Let's put heart in there. Separate things with a comma. And look, we've got a little heart has appeared now. There's a little clue here is if you don't see an emoji, and I think most computers will allow you to see emoji, change that line at the top to say no emoji import star. So just put a no in front of that, and that will then let me just show you what that does. So I go no emoji and then press run. This time round it's used the no emoji table of ASCII characters, and the world, typing world in gives you a lowercase o, not very inventive is it, and a heart gives you a heart sign. I better change that back because I quite like those colourful ones. And they're showing us here now to save it into your stuff. So if I just go save up here, that's saved into my Trinket account. Okay, Python can also do maths, and it knows about adding, subtraction, multiplying, dividing, and going to the power. So we're going to put another line on here. Python. Oops. So if I just do Python is very good at maths, and then press run, thinking I've done it properly, it says bad line stuff at line 16. To get it to print stuff out, I need to do print, put the opening bracket on there, put the closing bracket on there, put the speech marks inside, and then press run, and then that would run now. I can, in that emoji tab, there was some icons or emojis for Python. So it's a snake and a keyboard. So if I put Python comma in there, it's very good at maths, and sums is each of the multiplier signs, and add that on the end down there, comma sums, run that, and that's replaced those variables there with the values in the emoji tab. Lastly, we can actually get it to do proper math. So I can go print 1 plus 2, make an easy one for me, and then press run, and it comes up with 3. I can put stuff in brackets, so I don't want to type all that out, so I'm just going to swoop over that and copy that. Press Control V. This double sign there, double asterisk sign there means to the power. So I'll make 5782 times itself. Press run. We get a lovely big number there. The little tidbit here that the Japanese computer scientist Emma Haruka Iwao. There's a comment there about a Japanese computer scientist, Emma Haruka Iwao, who used a computer to calculate pi to the value of pi, which is to do with circles, to 31 trillion digits. The answer is so long it would take over 300 years just to say it. 300,000 years just to say it. So that's a big number. There's another point here that if you want to control the order of things, the normal BODMAS rules apply, but if you want to make sure that things are being multiplied in the right order, then you can use brackets to isolate things. So if I want to do print, oops, 4 times 5, and I want to add that to 7 divided by 3. I can control the order of that happening by using the brackets. Press run, and that's 22.3333 recurring. Okay. If your screen isn't quite big enough, there's a hamburger icon here, and there's an option here to go full screen. So this will make your output go full screen. I'm not going to do that because I got my screen set up. So press the hamburger icon again, and it slides back into place. So we're now going to do some stuff with the date and time icon. And let's just see what we're being asked to do in the window here. So we're going to use the calendar clock is date time now. So I can get the computer to tell me what time it is when I'm running this by using datetime.now, open and closing brackets. So down here, I'm just going to do print the date, time, oops, the calendar, clock is speech marks. Oops, I need speech marks around is because that's going to be just an ordinary string of letters. So those are called strings when they're inside brackets, and the other ones are called variables. They could be of any one of a number of data types. And that's date time dot now, open close bracket. Let's just check that's what they got on the window there. And we can use that Octothorpe sign or the hashtag, or the Americans call it the gate sign, and prints with emoji. Let's hope I've done that right. And press run. So there we go. You can see I've done. Time has moved on from that first screenshot I did, saying to save the project. If you'd spelt calendar wrong, like calendar, like that, and then try to run it, it says the name calendar is not defined. That normally means you've done a spelling mistake or the item you're trying to use doesn't exist. Let's just change that back to A. Right. Now we're going to move on to roller dice. There are some built-in functions within Python, and one of those is the print function, which we've been using all the way through here. It's customary. We're going to build a function that will create a random number. So what we're going to do is up in the functions part of our code at the top here, I'll put a couple of lines in there to make room, and define a function by using a keyword def, and roll dice is the name of our function, open and close bracket, and we need to put a colon on the end there, and they're saying don't forget it. When you press the enter key, because you put a colon on the end of the line, it's indented the work, which means that all the lines that follow are all related. So we're going to type in there print Python, and that's going to pull in that emoji for Python, the snake and the keyboard. Can make a and a comma, and then dice. Dice was another one of those emojis. Print you rolled a comma rand int one comma 6. Okay. So in this case here, we're just making a little function there called roll dice. It's going to print out on the screen. Well, let's just run it, shall we? Actually, because it's a function, I can't just run it, but I can call a function by down the bottom here, and down the bottom here. And to call a function, I just type the function name, roll, underscore dice, open close bracket, and we should see that the function has been called, and it's printed off Python can make a dice, you rolled a 4. So the 1, 6 here will create a random number between 1 and 6. If I run that again, we should get a different number. And this time it's come up with a 6. If I want to print a blank line between my code, I can just do a line in here. I can do print, open close bracket, print, open close, whoops. There's another way you can do this, but this is one of the easy ways to remember. Run that now, and then you can see my lines in my output window are separated out. So if you've got some problems with your code, look at the error message, look and see what you've typed in, make sure if you've got an underscore in there, you call the function down here with the underscore. And also make sure that it's important that colon goes there to keep all that function together. Okay, we've got we'll use the random number again in a moment, but if I come down the bottom here just to show you, if I type print fire, which is another one of my emojis, there is down there, times 3, press run. You see I get 3 little flames appear on here. I'm just going to delete that. What we're going to do is we're going to add that line into our function like they got here, so it just gives you a visual display of what you've rolled. So in my function here, I'm going to do print, then close bracket, fire. Doesn't need a speech marks because it's a variable from the emoji page, emoji library, times roll. Okay, so this time we're going to take out our random integer part of our code here, and we're going to assign that to a variable inside our function. So just highlight that and remove that. I'm going to do roll equals, and just paste that back in there, random integer between 1 and 6. And on the end of this line here, I'm just going to add roll back in there. So all I've done is I've cut that line, that bit of code out there, put it into a variable, put it down there, and then I'm then using that variable to multiply the number of fire signs that appear. So this time I rolled a 2, and it's made 2 fire signs. Let me just change that to 60, and then you can see what happens. So I rolled an 11, make it again, I made 41, and it's made 41 fire signs. We're going to change that random integer in a minute. I'll just take the 0 off the end there. You can use, obviously you can use the star and the heart thing, in fact you can use any of these icons that are on here. So let's look, there's a sports one there, so I've double clicked on that. I'm going to do Control C to copy that, or I could right click on it and do copy. Come back to my code and double click on fire and then do Control V and then press run, and that time it's done. Because that emoji for sports has 3 icons on it, it's printed those three times. So variables are really helpful in helping you make your code easier to read and also reusable. Because in computer we try, when we're writing code, we try to be as reusable of things as we can. So the next part is we're going to change our function to allow for the maximum number of sides. So in here, we're going to say, it says I can make a dice. Yep. We create a new variable called max, and max equals input. Now input is another keyword from the Python functions. So input is a bit like a print statement, and then inside there, how many sides do you want? Let's use the double chevron. And what does it say on the end there? Oh, in this program now, we'll wait for the input to be entered, and then we're going to confirm what you've asked for. Print. Okay, so because I've used double speech marks, the next bit of thing in instructions here doesn't apply. I can just go ahead and type that. Oops, get in the window. That. So I can use a single apostrophe in the way that we'd normally use it. A. Why does it say D? I don't know. Print, that's a D. That's a D with this many sides. And comma, and then max. So I'm going to ask you how many sides you want on your dice. Die. Dice, die. Oh. That's a dice with this many sides. Let's press run. Oh no, we've got to change another thing. So now I need to change my random integer thing to go up to the maximum. So type max. That's clever, isn't it? So when I take an input from the computer would see that normally as just being a string, and so the number that I enter doesn't get entered as a number, it gets entered in as a character. So I have to cast that into an integer by typing int, open bracket, and then wrap that round max. So that line there will turn integer it'll turn max into an integer rather than just being some letters. Oops. Right. Let's just run that. Let's see what happens. How many sides do I want? I want a 9-sided dice, please. 9. So that's a dice with this many sides, 9. You rolled a 1. Let's run it again. Let's put oh, I did put a closing bracket on there and it didn't protest. Okay, let's put 900 in there and a closing bracket. Press run. How many sides? Oh, no. Silly Billy. That should be max in there. Then press stop and press run. And over there I'm winking, so I'm just going to say 900. Let's see what happens. I fell into my own trap. So if you don't, because random integer, this function here, randint, is expecting two numbers, a start number and an end number. And although I entered 900, 900 has been entered as text. I need to cast that into an integer by typing int, open bracket, and a closing bracket. That's hard to explain, but that's what this error message means down here, is that you haven't told the computer that max is a number. The variable max is a number. Right, let's just run that again. I'm going to go for 900 because I want to see lots of sports icons appear, emojis appear. 900. And there we go, it's given me 117 of them. You're welcome to count them, but I believe it. Okay. So we're going to make some sentences from our project. Print I heart, comma, speech mark, and 4 or 5 dots. So that's just going to write. That's just going to get the heart emoji from here. Print. It's kind of like making a sentence, isn't it? Dot dot dot. Makes me feel silly, because I just saw silly on the list. And then print hide, and there's that single apostrophe being able to just be used as it is. If I'd use single quotes on there, I'd have to put the \D to tell it to the next character was a real character, not the end of the string of letters. I'd like to make dot dot with comma Python. Let's just run that, see what happens. 5. I love dot dot dot. Makes me feel silly, so that's a silly icon from here. I'd like to make with Python. The yellow emoji heart is often used to show friendship and happiness. Okay, so it's called yellow heart. I'm going to send you guys a yellow heart. I'll copy that. Print. You guys make me run that. And that's how it appears. Save your project. Lots of interesting things going on there. There's their usual reflection questions now, so it's a chance for you to test what you can remember. I would let you do that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Certainly very bit shorter than the other some of the other projects we've done, and I look forward to giving you the next one. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.